The next feature of the Family Search Tree app is the Temple tab. So you can go to the menu and open up the Temple features. And under here, it will show you all of the individuals for whom you have reserved their ordinances to be completed in the temple. And you can, it allows you to filter it based off of various preferences. Um, And I just wanted to walk through the basic features of this page, this tab. So if you click on the button here, or touch it, I guess it is, um, it will open up a tab. Let's see, it will open up the additional features to allow you to take the name or names to the temple. Um, when you use a computer, it allows you to print out ordinance cards on your own computer. But say if you're driving to the temple and you're already there and you wanted to take a name and you suddenly remembered, it's totally fine. You can go click to take a name, take to the temple. You can go into the temple, show them the number that's generated. I think there's also a QR code that's also generated. They can scan that. They can look at your reservation and they can print out the cards for you to make it very simple and straightforward. I think it's a wonderful way of making sure you always have a name to take to the temple. You can always, with this when you check it, you can also unreserve it or share it with someone else. In case you're not able to go or want to provide the opportunity for someone else to, you can allow them to take that name instead, and they can print it up. Um, One other neat feature to make sure you always have an opportunity to take a name to the temple is the Ordinances Ready button here at the bottom. When you click on that, it opens up the option to select various ordinances, and it will allow you to, it will go through your family tree and others, the other trees, because one big tree, um, and it will find individuals that are ready to take to the temple, who have that green temple icon that we talked about earlier with tasks. Um, and you can select one of these or multiple of these, and it will print off one or more names for you to take to the temple. At that point, you can then do as I said, mentioned previously, with taking a name to the temple. You can take the card, take your number or the QR code to the temple. They can print off the name, and you can do those ordinances there. I think it's a neat way to making sure you always have something. And I'm really grateful that Family Search added that functionality recently, and it keeps getting refined and keeps getting better. So you can find your own ancestors that you might not have known about, but it searches the tree for them and makes sure that you can access those. The next feature here is the Find a Person. So if you go to the menu again, click on Find a Person, and it will appear with a search page similar to this. Now, for this example, I've selected my great grandfather, and because I'm familiar with his history, and I wanted to see what Family Search had about that. So you type in any information that you have about the individual, and you click Find. And when you do, it pulls up a series, one long page shown here as different screenshots with various information. It shows their last name and where that name came from, which I think is pretty cool. It shows how many people with that name are in the Family Search tree, um, and where in those individuals come from. In this case, the name Sloan is Irish. So there's many that live in the United States, but also in Ireland because that's where the name came from. And it shows you some information like that. It also goes through and shows you information about the individuals whose name matches that. This particular individual is not my ancestor, but he is listed later down in the search results. This the screen over here shows you the historical records that you can search for. And again, I mentioned this is not something that I would personally be inclined to do on a phone unless I needed to. But if you wanted to, you could definitely go through and search various types of records for this individual. So it allows you to find a person, allows you to see lots of information and kind of locate people with that name, learn a little bit more about them and their name and where that came from, and in a way learning where you came from, from where your ancestry came from as well. One of the neat features of Family Tree is the ability to connect with your relatives, and there's lots of ways that this can be done. I will one of the ways that I've enjoyed is when I upload a memory, and I tag one of my ancestors, a distant relative will contact me and say, "Thank you for uploading that. I love hearing that or seeing that picture." That's one way. The other way is to use the relatives around me feature. So I took this screenshot from the Family Search blog online, in part because it showed the iOS capabilities that I don't have access to because my phone is an Android phone. I attribute these screenshots to the Family Search site. But you can access the relatives around me feature. And when you do, you want to do it when people are physically very proximate to you. And if you're met someone and you want to see how you're related, both of you can do that because you're really close. We did this a couple years ago in my church congregation, and many people got on at the same time. We all pushed the scan for friends button. It did a little searching, and it pulled up lists of people in that congregation who I knew and who I could see across the room, and that were related to me. And if you click on that, then it shows you how you're related, who your common ancestor is, and the relationship that you have. So I think it's really cool. You can do it with one person, you can do it 10 people, 100 people, or even thousands of people. I've heard of it being done at Roots Tech where you could connect with thousands of individuals and find perhaps dozens of relatives of who you're related to. So I think it's an amazing feature. And when you're able to, I encourage you to do that, to use that and connect with someone else. One of the other neat features is Map My Ancestors. The screenshot also taken from Family Search. And what this does is that it documents the geographic locations on the map of where your ancestors are from, or where they were born, or where they died. Any life event that's documented. You can see here for this screenshot that there's an individual who had a residence in this enumeration district in Harriman in the southern part of Salt Lake Valley in Utah. And so that individual had that event there. But perhaps they were born in England. Perhaps they lived in Massachusetts or in New York as they immigrated to Utah. There's various life events, and being a nomadic type of being, we move around, and we have different events in our lives at different places. So this allows you to see that. You can see all of the events for that one individual. If you click on them, it can show you that they were born in England and then lived in these places and then died in somewhere else. This feature is also good if you're traveling on a road trip or a business trip and you wanted to and you had some extra time or you wanted to make a special detour, you could pull up this app and say, okay, I'm here. Who are the ancestors around me? Or what events did they do? What happened? And you can go in and see, oh, this person died and was buried in a town that's just close by, or this is where they lived, so I can go literally walk the streets of where they lived. And I think it's just a really cool way of connecting on a geographic level and on that in-depth level. The iOS and the Android platforms look slightly different, but it shows you the same information. on the iOS, it shows you the events as little individual dots. On Android, the events are grouped together, and as you zoom in with your thumbs or whatever finger else you use to do that on maps, it goes bigger, and then you can see like more finely where events happened. It's a really neat feature. I invite you to check it out as well. So this is probably one of the newest features of the Family Tree app, and that is the improved place names feature. When you type in a location, there are different types of locations. There's like cities or towns or counties, countries, states, provinces, you name it, from big to small. And what the goal of Family Search is to have those locations standardized. That allows you to make it easier to search for in the future. Say I wanted to find ancestors that I'm doing research, and I know that my ancestor lived in this particular area, but I don't know their name, or I don't know what other relatives there were. So I can type in a name, and I can type in residents in this location in a general state or province or whatever it may be, and then you can search for it that way. Improving place names improves that standardization. So if you go there, you go to the menu and you can go to improve place names. You can pick any country or any specific country. Maybe say you have experience traveling there or live there. You can go there and review place names. It will pop up with an individual, and it so happens that this individual was my sixth cousin 5 times removed. So it's cool that they are related to me. And it shows that in the past, another individual contributed to this person's profile by typing in a residence location at Southern Division, Talladega, Alabama, in the United States. Now, Southern Division, I'm not sure what that fully means. Talladega, is that a city or is that a county? That's the questions that improving place names aims to address. So when the residence this information is not changed in Family Search. It still remains the same, but what's attached to it is a standardized place. So you can go in and see, oh, there's Talladega, Alabama, that's a county, and the county was established in 1832. Or there's Talladega, which is a city within that county. So I'm not sure exactly what Southern Division is. I could do some more research to find out. But I'm going to assume that Talladega is a county in this case. I'm going to click on this top entry and then keep going through the others as well. The dates are provided because some jurisdictions started or ended, created or were dissolved at certain times. So the dates can also inform which location it is. I've seen, for example, there was maybe events that happened in a territory of the United States up to a certain time, and then that territory was made into a state. And after that date, all the events that happen there are going to be in the state, not in the territory. But it does include both because events happened in both. So the standardized date places allows for accounting for different jurisdictions and also jurisdictions and their history of how they evolved and grew or subdivided or things like that. So that's a neat feature of Family Search. You can do 10 names in just a couple of minutes, and so before you can finish your sandwich or salad or bowl of soup at lunch, you can have completed 10 names, 10 standardized names. So it's a really cool way of getting a little bit of family history done in a little bit of time and making a difference for the greater family tree.